Okay. So if you just introduce yourself, please.
My name is Ashley. I'm currently doing a BTech course, Business and Communication.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ashley. Thank you for being here for the interview, and thank you for sending me your letter of application and your CV. Okay. Now, I enjoyed reading both of those. They were a little bit late, but it was still good to receive them today. And you certainly arrived punctually. You're on time, and you're well groomed and very well presented. So thank you for that. Okay. Ashley, when you saw the advertisement in the newspaper, why did you think, wow, that's the job for me? Well, what's interesting about this job for you? Why have you applied for it?
Well, when I was small, I really liked the export and import that industry. So, and therefore I studied a lot of economics and business, and I think my knowledge would help the business.
Okay, all right. So you talk about your knowledge there, your knowledge of import and export.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? What do you understand by that?
It's like how a country works, like what do they import into a country, or what do they use the stuff in use items in a country to trade with other countries for goods.
Okay, all right, good, all right. So if your friends were talking about you, and if you were talking about this job with your friends, what kind of qualities do you think you have, or would your friends say that you have, which would make you a good candidate for this job? What skills do you have, or personal qualities do you have that would make you good at this role?
In school, I'm like a team player. I always like to work with groups, and I like to lead the team. So I think I can lead the group and company.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that your friends would say, that you're a good team leader. Can you tell me two other attributes?
I'm hardworking. Like when I receive my works, I'll do it straight away. I won't leave it to the end because I just finish everything off. And I'm pretty independent. Like I won't get distracted easy. I like working by myself, but I can work as a group as well.
Okay, all right, that's good. Thank you. So that's the kind of person that you are and the skills that you have. I just want you to think back about your school courses, your GCSEs last year, and the course that you're doing now. So think about your qualifications, that kind of skills, that kind of experiences. What have you studied at school that will help you in this role if we were to employ you?
For the GCSE, I took economics, so I know about how the whole economic works, and although it's GCSE, not really deep, but then I have a brief idea. And now for BTech, I'm taking business, so it's focused in a small area, but then there's a lot of techniques I can learn, and yeah.
Okay, thank you. You talked about your skills and the things that you would bring to the job. What about the kind of challenges that the job would give to you? What aspects of this job do you think you might find to be difficult?
I think the difficulty is although I like working in a group, but then sometimes different people have different opinions, so that might be a certain problem. Because I'm pretty straightforward, so sometimes there might be arguments between the group's members.
Yeah. And how do you deal with those kind of conflicts? If you talked about yourself before as a group leader. If you were in a group of, say, 3 or 4 other people, and there were lots and lots of dissenting voices, people couldn't reach agreement, how would you deal with that kind of situation?
I think we all should speak what we think, and then we just have to find a problem to solve it. Don't argue, be calm, and just find a problem, find a solution to solve it.
Okay. Thank you. We've had a lot of interest in this role, okay, maybe 40 people applying, and we're interviewing 7 or 8, of which you're one. Ashley, why should I pick you against all the others? Why should I go away from here and think Ashley's the guy that I want for this role?
Because I studied a lot of business already, so I know a lot of export and import, the knowledge, and I can lead teams and can communicate with each other.
Thank you. Now it's your turn. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask me about the role?
I want to ask like the working hours. Like, is it long or is this just?
It's I guess what we call normal office hours. So most people are in, well, all people are in work by 9 o'clock. Some people may choose to come in a little bit earlier, and we usually work until 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. Yours is just a junior position, so there'd be no real expectation of taking work home and no real expectation of working late, unless you're on a particular project, in which case your boss might request that you know, one particular evening you work late or that you finish a job. But generally speaking, your office hours would be 9 till 5:30 or 6 o'clock, 5 days a week, no working at the weekends, no working Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your time, Ashley.